Good evening. My name is Professor Emilius Hammond, and as you may have learned, I am an expert in radiation studies. I'm sure that my boys Dirk and Wally, students of mine, have shared with you the prehistoric recreations they created using my Vita-Ray technology. And I'm sure many of you got a harmless little scare or two from them. Well, I hope you won't be alarmed. Radiation can be a very dangerous thing, but that doesn't make it inherently evil. If properly harnessed, radiation can be a valuable tool. It's also something that is quite natural and present in many things that we take for granted. To give you an example, X-ray radiation allows us to look at somebody's bones, which can be quite useful in accomplishing important tasks like helping that bone to heal, diagnosing other problems, even solving crimes. Now, some people will take alarm at the fact that technicians will often don lead aprons in order to protect themselves. X-ray radiation is not dangerous if you're exposed to it once in a while, but the technicians are exposed to it daily, and so they have to take precautions. Like I said, radiation is dangerous, but it's not evil. To further illustrate the point, the bones that you examine in an X-ray are themselves radioactive. Oh, it's quite true, and it's not a consequence of atomic bombs or anything like that. It's simply a natural part of eating. As we take food into our bodies, we take in substances from the surrounding environment, and some of those substances are mildly radioactive. A certain isotope or variation of carbon, called carbon-14, is one such substance, and it can be stored in our bones. It does not emit enough radiation to harm us. No, not by any means. But knowing that it's there can lead to some fascinating ways of exploring the universe. For example, you may have heard of carbon dating. When somebody dies and therefore stops eating, they stop replenishing the carbon-14 in their bones. And since the level of carbon-14 cannot change, and it's something that decays at a predictable rate, we can use that for dating things like archaeological artifacts. The process can also happen during fossilization, and in fact, some fossil bones can be quite radioactive, even dangerously so. The bones that you see here at the Stewart Museum are actually mildly radioactive. They won't cause you any harm, but the fact that during the process of fossilization they may have absorbed additional uranium, which sometimes replaces the calcium in bones, means that these bones can produce minute amounts of a radioactive gas called radon. These amounts are so minute that they pose no health risk whatsoever. However, our exhibit designers do have to be careful about how they create cabinets to hold them. If they're not careful about letting them bones breathe, so to speak, the radon can build up, and if we open the case, it can pose a health risk. Of course, since we have used science to become aware of this radiation, we can also use science to take precautions, and thereby transform radiation from a danger into a tool.